So in this unit, we're gonna have a lot of equations. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of equations. They're not super difficult though. One of the easiest ones is the time interval and the distance. So the time interval is just the difference between the start time and the end time. And there's this, that's what this equation says. This right here, this triangle, that is something called delta. And delta just means change in. So if you see delta t, that just means change in time is your final time minus your initial time. Okay, so let's say this runner, okay, he starts moving at 0 minutes, and he finishes after 3 minutes. His change in time, or that time interval in which he was moving, was 3 minus 0, which is 3 minutes. You could also say that he started, let's say he starts at 3 minutes. You don't stop your watch, you just keep it going. And then he finishes at 5 minutes. Okay, so then you'd have 5 minus 3, and that would mean he was running for 2 minutes during that time interval. So that's how you calculate time interval. It's pretty easy, and most of the time, your initial time is going to be 0, most of the time. Displacement is our other kind of equation that's like the time equation. Again, this delta just means change in, so we have change in distance. So again, if your initial distance was 0 meters and you ran 500 meters, your actual change in position, or your displacement, would be 500 meters. Okay, now let's say you started at that 500 meter mark and you ran till it said 1,000 meters. You'd have 1,000 meters minus 500. I'm going to write it down here. You'd have run another 500 meters. Okay, most of the time, again, your initial displacement is going to be 0, but you can have other numbers, but most of the time it will be 0. And if they don't tell you a displacement, an initial displacement, they just say someone ran 500 meters, then your initial displacement is 0. Same with time. If they say someone was running for 3 minutes and they don't give you an initial time, then you assume that the initial time was 0.